Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Okay, great. Darling, that little duckling.
How y'all doing? Oh yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jason Morris. Welcome to my channel if you're new. I want to show you guys how quickly these geese and ducks are growing and take y'all along on just a little quick project I'm going to do today to improve their situation. If you watched that last video, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, and saw these babies, you'll see just how quickly they have grown. And these geese are going to be about 20 pounds, so they are growing very rapidly. And the issue I'm experiencing is the little commercial feeders that we had them, that we started them on, they were working just fine, okay? But now that they've gotten larger, they just don't hold a sufficient amount of food. And so I'm gonna make a larger feeder. That way we're not having to just constantly come out here 2 or 3 times a day, check their food, keep it full. Because these little guys are eating a lot of food. If you've ever had to feed a preteen or a teenager who's going through growth spurts, you'll kind of get an idea of how much food these little guys are eating. And that's good because they're growing, they're healthy, they need that protein, they need that food. But I just need to provide them with a better feeder that's going to hold more food and be more of an automatic feeder for them. Right now we've just got them in this temporary kind of a grow out pen. We've also moved the baby chickens out into a grow out pen. Still protected, still having a heat light. But you know, they're half grown birds, so this is kind of a stepping stone up from the little brooder that we actually had them in when they first were just little hatchlings. So let me show you guys what I've gotten for the chickens as an automatic feeder. Now this holds a lot of food for them, you know, for a couple weeks, you know, 2-3 weeks, and then we have to refill it. And that's kind of the same idea I'm going for on the geese and the ducks. But the same type of feeder is not going to work, because the chickens, where they are more, you know, they peck at their food. The ducks and the geese, they use more of kind of a scooping action. So I think I've got something figured out that's going to work and not break the bank. Okay, so this is the chicken feeder that I have for the chickens. You can see they're all crowded around it. But just kind of show you what we've got here. It's just a large plastic storage tub that I cut holes into, and then we put these 90-degree 2-inch PVC pipes in there. That way the food doesn't just come pouring out. And it keeps the food dry, keeps it clean, and they have an adequate source of food just all the time. So like I said, I don't think this is really going to work too well for the ducks and the geese. So we're going to do something that's going to work better for them. So I went to the local feed store around here and found a type of feeder that I thought would actually work for our geese and our ducks, and I just, I thought it was kind of exorbitantly priced. 2, not sure if it was really, I think it's more intended for, like I say, the poultry that actually pecks instead of scoops. So even the little small feeder, and it wasn't very big. I want to say it was right there around $20. The one that was larger and still not as big as the one I'm going to make was right there, 37, close to 40 bucks. So I went to local hardware store, got me a 5-gallon bucket with a lid, stopped by an auto parts place and got one of these just cheap little oil drain pans. So total investment $6, maybe $7. Okay, and this is kind of an experiment. I think it's going to work. Not 100% sure, so until I know that it works, I'm not going to get super fancy with it. I'm not going to spend any more on it. Pretty sure this is going to work though. Once I'm sure that it works, I may end up going ahead and actually permanently mounting this by way of drilling some small holes, so maybe 1.5 inch washers and some stainless steel little nuts and bolts just to kind of make it one unit. But today I just want to make this and verify that it is going to work. Okay, so basically the idea here is we're going to drill some holes in this bucket. We're going to be able to fill this bucket up with feed, and it will go ahead and put out enough food in here to where they can come in here and scoop it out, and as it drains down, it'll just pour out more food. That's the idea anyway. So what I'd would have liked to put these holes in here with would be a actual hole saw, because it just leaves a lot cleaner, burr-free hole. But I didn't have one in the size that I really think I need, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a 1.5 inch paddle bit, spade bit. Now, if you've never drilled into plastic before, just make your drilling very controlled and don't put a lot of pressure on it. Let your bit do the work. And I think this will work out pretty good. So like I said, for obvious reasons, I would have much preferred to use a hole saw. As you can see, the drill bit, even whenever you're being pretty careful with it, leaves just kind of a scraggly edge to it. We don't want little babies cutting their face and their bill all up. So if you don't have a hole saw, you're having to do this, you may have to use a little Dremel tool or some heavy grit sandpaper, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to go over all these holes and just to make sure that we don't have any sharp burrs and edges on them. And it doesn't have to be absolutely 100% perfect. Just don't need any sharp edges on them, because the intended purpose of this is not for them to actually eat from the holes, but for it to pour in this basin and them to actually scoop it out of this basin. How y'all doing? Yeah? Oh yeah, y'all like that grass, huh? So I went ahead and got the holes sanded out, just to, run your fingers across there, make sure there aren't any sharp burrs or edges that'll cut them. Went ahead and took a damp cloth and just wiped out the inside. Make sure there weren't any little bits of plastic left in there that they might be able to ingest. And I went ahead and, at least temporarily, went ahead and just mounted it to the bottom. That way it wouldn't be able to move around. Like I said, I may go back, add some little bolts to make this more permanent. But the moment of truth, let's see how well this works, see if they like it. All right, come on, babies. I gotta get it in here. All right. Well, right now they're preoccupied with grass. That's their first love. But I think this is really gonna do what I need it to do. Like I said, these little commercial feeders were fine when they were real little. But as you can see, they're getting to the point they're not real little anymore. Still just as cute and precious as can be though. So I thought I'd bring you guys down here just right quick and show you where the final home for the ducks and geese is going to be. It's going to be down here by our pond. Lots of shade right here and filtered sunlight. A little bit of cover and protection from overhead creatures. But this right here, that I have deemed the quack house, is going to be their final home. That sounds kind of morbid. Well, it's going to be their home when they're adults. And that's the plan anyway. I still need to cut a door in it and build them a ramp. But this would be a good spot for them to get out of any real severe weather, or to be able to close them up at night. So I just figured I'd show you guys that. Like I said, still going to cut out a hinge door right there and go ahead and build them a ramp. But we'll see how well that works out. Don't know if they're going to actually want to sleep in there, but that's the plan anyway. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you were able to get something useful out of it, maybe a little bit of benefit for yourself if you're dealing with this sort of issue. And if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd go ahead and hit that thumbs up, that like button down there before you head out. Till the next video, y'all take care, God bless, and get more outdoors. Come on. Where are y'all going? Come on, y'all get back in here. Come on. Come on. It wasn't time to come out. Come on. Come on. Come on.